Hi everybody, I'm your host Bonnie Squires. Welcome to Bonnie's Beat. We're coming to you from the studios, Radnor Studio 21 in the heart of downtown Wayne, which is very warm today, so it's nice and air conditioned in here. We like to bring you news about what's happening in academia, the cultural world, theater, politics, etc., and especially the charitable world. Anyway, the heat got to my tongue. We have two interesting guests with us today. We have Sandra Pfaff, who is to my immediate left, and we have Ann Bridge, who is in the pink. You like our primary color arrangement here? Totally unprepared. They are volunteers with the Emergency Aid of Pennsylvania Foundation. Everybody's heard about the Emergency Aid. I know I've heard about it forever. I never knew what it was or what they do, but they're 100 years old, so we're going to find out today. And Sandra, since you're the co-chair of the Emergency Aid right now, you can start by telling us, what is the Emergency Aid and what do they do?
Well, the Emergency Aid actually was founded in 1914 by 8 amazing women.
That was even before I was born.
In Philadelphia. And they found a need at the time of 1914. World War I was going on.
And it had just broken out in 14.
Right. And there was a very unsettled situation in Philadelphia. There was a lot of need. There was unemployment at that time. There were epidemics in Philadelphia, polio, influenza, and other crises that had been arising. And we had these amazing women realize that in Belgium there was a great need because that was the first place where it was invaded during World War I. And so they felt, let's see what we can do. So the 8 women met at Mrs. Walburton's house, and they decided it's time to do something to help all this agony that was out there. And the next week they met, this was in October of 1914, they decided to have a women's committee start, and they started it by calling it the Emergency Aid of Pennsylvania. And that was the beginning of our start, helping across the ocean, in Philadelphia, getting relief for all of them.
Did that mean raising money at the time? Sending supplies like bandages? What exactly did it mean?
Yes, it did. It meant raising money, which due to the publicity of what was going on with this in the first few weeks, the newspapers of Philadelphia really helped us out. And the money and the supplies started to come in. So we had to have a place for all this. So one of our wonderful gentlemen of Philadelphia offered his home, and we started to put the supplies in that home, and that was the beginning of gathering supplies, which and we also had things made in the area, like we made the surgical dressings, we had knitting, we made caps and mittens, but we also did one thing that we all wanted to do, is we put Made in America. So
that's very interesting.
We did
There's a big crusade in Congress, right?
Yes.
Right now for Made in America products.
So anything that was shipped over to the foreign countries, especially starting with Belgium, we put Made in America.
And Anne, now you're also a past chair of the Emergency Aid, and you're currently the scholarship chair. We'll get to the scholarships a little later on. But what attracted you to be a volunteer with the Emergency Aid?
I'm actually second generation. My mother, excuse me, has been a volunteer for over 50 years with the organization.
50 years?
Yes.
So she's like the walking history. That's
she is. She is. So
what's your mother's name?
Joan Quinn.
Okay.
Yes, and because I saw how much she got out of it, she was so fulfilled giving back, and she made such great friendships that I wanted to do that too.
How long ago did you join?
I joined 13 years ago. So I've been doing it for 13 years.
When you were in high school,
When
right?
I was in high school, yes. My sister and I both joined, and yeah, we've loved every minute of it. We've made great friends. And
Sandra, how long have you been involved?
Over 50 years.
But you're not even 50 years old. How could you have been a volunteer for 50 years?
I was one of the first junior aides, and we started when we were 16.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Well, being a member of the Emergency Aid is like drinking the fountain of youth. Everybody should go join. You've got a secret there, ladies. Oh my goodness. So now, what do you do as the chair when you were chair? What exactly were your responsibilities? Because it's a whole volunteer agency,
Yes.
except for your one. You
We
know,
have a
your-
part-time employee,
Yeah, your one
office
part-time.
person.
And Kathy probably. Part-time is probably only like 4,000 hours a week
Yeah.
instead of 5,000 hours a week.
Well, the beauty of our organization is we are all volunteers, so we all give a ton of time, and it's all women. We're an all-women's organization. So
I'll root for that.
Yes.
I was just at Bryn Mawr College a week or so ago when Hillary Clinton
Oh, right.
spoke to the Women in Public Service Project,
Right.
and it was so exciting. And and she makes a very good point, Hillary. She has for decades that if you leave out half of the world's population, you only have a half a chance of getting to the solutions of the problems.
Exactly. Yeah. So when I became chair, we have two main functions at the Emergency Aid now. One is our distribution group, which we give grants to small organizations that help mainly families, women, and children in the area. We give them the startup money to get their growing charity started. And then our second
And you're
is,
right here in Wayne.
Yes, our office is right here on Conestoga.
So on Conestoga Road, let's give the address, 221 Conestoga Road in Wayne. Do people just drop in and say help? I mean, how do they get to you? How do they, find you? Or how do you find who needs the help, Sandra?
Well, they find us on our website, number one. Number two, we do send out letters to all the schools telling them about our founders and also our scholarships. So, and that's in the 5-county area of Philadelphia. So that is one way. But
So
basically
you cover
now,
the whole region.
yes,
do.
yes.
It's not just Wayne.
No,
No,
no.
no.
And it
You
has
even extend to Radnor, right?
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Yes. So it's been wonderful because we had good responses. But now the young women are so sufficient and savvy in the internet. When they want to search for a grant, what's going to happen out there, they're out there and
On the
Yeah.
computer.
and that's where they find us.
or
also.
the iPhone or the iPad or the whatever, or Facebook or
Right.
Tumblr or
So we have a wonderful website, and it tells
the
everything.
website is www.eafoundation.org. Let me give you that again. www.eafoundation.org. EA for emergency aid. Okay.
And then the same thing happens with our grants that we give to special agencies who need money to help keep their agency continuing. So they have to write a grant and they send it to us. And the same thing, they find us on the internet, but they know we're out there because we've been doing that for many years for a lot of the people and the agencies that ask for money. And we do it again for the 5-county area.
Sandra very thoughtfully brought along some printouts of some photos. I'd like to show you what an emergency aid founder looked like. This was Miss Margaret Hughes. She was a lieutenant in the emergency aid. They had
Uniforms.
Uniforms.
Oh,
Yes.
they had uniform like the military. Oh, I love
They
it.
all,
Here we go.
had-
Isn't that great?
Very
And
fashionable.
she's got a waist that's about 18
I
inches.
know.
I'm
The
jealous.
women are amazing. They were.
But interesting enough, and some of the printouts won't show up on television, but one of the printouts that Sandra showed me was a straw bridge.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
they had
And a
where to go to
Wanamaker.
tap for money, right?
Yes.
And a Wanamaker
And a Wanamaker
also.
too.
Yes.
Ooh,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
And we
Okay.
also had Mrs. Cassatt, Mrs. Alexandra Cassatt,
Oh,
who was our first president.
it was Mary Cassatt's mother? Oh my goodness.
Yes.
I know the church in Bryn Mawr that has the stained glass windows designed by Mary
Yes.
Cassatt. Breathtakingly beautiful.
And we were fortunate
Absolutely.
enough that they presented us with some of the Cassatt etchings. And actually they helped us out a little bit because we sold them and we put it into our foundation money, our endowment.
Unbelievable.
Our endowment.
Let me hold this up also. This is a group photo with Mrs. Alexandra Cassatt, president, in the first row. Let's see where she is. She's one,
Right in
two,
the center.
three, four, right in the center. And this picture was taken somewhere between 1914 and 1919. Can we show this? I love it. Can you get a close-up of this? This is so wonderful. Well, this is the closest we're going to get right now.
It shows the uniforms that
on.
they had and the hats that they had worn at that time.
They look very military.
Yes.
They really do. Why the military costumes?
Well, we decided about 1917 that we
Well,
needed.
you didn't decide. You weren't even born then.
I'm speaking as emergency aid.
Okay.
So the big title, emergency aid, decided that we should have uniforms because we also were going overseas, and that also it was something that we were recognized in the city. And it
So in
was
other words,
something-
you, the early Emergency Aid Foundation women, went to deliver in person the things they had collected, like the bandages
city.
and stuff?
in the city, but
In the
then
city.
some of them were sent over to Europe,
Oh my
and
goodness.
they were on the front line.
Mm.
We sent 6 women over, and they were on the front line.
Oh my goodness.
Giving out supplies and taking care of things. So they were very much in the way of harm, but they loved their job.
Do you have any idea how much money in grants and scholarships the Emergency Aid of Pennsylvania has given out since in 100 years? Do you have any idea?
Scholarships started in 1985, and since then we've given out over $475,000 in scholarships.
$475,000.
Yes.
That's a big number. Oh my goodness. Now the scholarships go for kids to go to college?
Yes, but it starts with our Founders Program, which we're very proud of. What we do is we send applications to all the area public, parochial, and charter schools in the 5 counties. Ask them for recommendations of girls who have shown leadership qualities and community service. And that's what we base it on, their citizenship. And then we get over 100 applications. We go through them and we pick 20 girls to
20 out of 100.
to give this Founders Award to. And then that's when they're in 9th grade. Then we give them seminars. We hold community service projects for them. We start mentoring them. And then when they're seniors, they are able to apply for one of our scholarships.
And how much is the scholarship?
$4,000.
Okay. It doesn't go as far today as it did
No.
50 years ago.
No.
But that's a nice chunk of change
Yes.
for $1,000.
Our scholarships are endowed mainly by our members and friends of the emergency aid. So we look to them to help us with our scholarship program.
Sandra, how many members are there?
At this time, actually, our largest amount we had back in 1964 was close to 1,000 or more. Actually, it might have been more. And then in 1917, we had about 600. Now we have about 380
Yeah.
members.
You're looking to grow your membership?
Oh, yes.
Yes,
Yes.
always looking to grow, yeah.
Now, how is it that you're 100 years old and we don't read about you in the newspaper every week?
Well, I think back in the earlier days we did because we had a lot of members at that time. And I also might add that from 1914 to 1917, we raised $2 million. And think of that at that time.
Yeah.
We
And
raised the $2 million.
Between 1914 and 1917,
which was
these 8 volunteer women raised
a lot of
$2
other
million.
women helped. A lot of other women helped our women's committee because we branched off into many other committees, and each one helped to raise for their, like we had a French committee, we had a British committee, we had a Belgium committee, Belgium Relief. And all of that was raised for them between 1914 and 1917, which was the need which we had to have.
Now,
so
do
the
you-
money just came in. It was amazing.
Do you have an office in Wayne? Is that an office or somebody's home?
It's an office,
So you do have an office?
Yes.
Okay.
yes. And
And-
we don't do many social events. We just do the things for the girls, like our seminars. But we do have Mainline Madness every March. We have that at Radnor Corporate Center.
What is Mainline Madness?
It's we have 50 restaurants that come and set up booths, and they have their food for everyone to taste. So you pay a flat fee, and you
So
come
that's
for
your
the
big
night.
fundraiser.
That's our big fundraiser.
Okay.
Yes, every
How much
March.
did you raise this year?
I think,
It was about almost 20,000.
yeah.
$20,000. I'm jealous. Radnor Studio 21 has done that a few times, but I don't think we raised anything near $20,000. That's a nice round number.
But in celebration of our 100th anniversary, we plan to have many events between now and 2014 to help set. So we're kind of launching it today with you.
This is the kickoff.
Yes.
On Bonnie's Beat at Radnor Studio 21. I
Exactly.
love it. I love it.
So we are so happy to be able to announce it here that it is a year-long event, and we're going to have, in fact, we probably will not say Mainline Madness. We just had a meeting recently. It might be Restaurant Row, Emergency Aids Restaurant Row.
Oh, I like it.
Just to bring in more people, we're hoping.
You know, the Miss America pageant is coming back to Atlantic City. Yay. But is there a way that, find out if any of the women that you've ever given scholarships to is one of the contenders for, you know, because it's always interesting to me when they interview the Miss America contestants that somebody who was born and raised in South Philadelphia or in Wynwood or Wayne, but they went to college in Georgia or Washington, D.C. or Boston, and they got elected to represent the city where their college is located.
Right.
So you might have somebody.
Could be.
You'll have to do a survey.
Well, the survey that we've done with the women that have graduated from us, the women have excelled in what they're doing. We have a lot of outstanding women that have graduated. And of course, and they always come back and say, thank you so much for mentoring us, because we wouldn't be where we are today.
Can you think of, you don't have to give a name, but can you think of a vocation, a profession that one of your young women is following now that was a scholarship winner that's really outstanding? And
one of our first founders was the principal at Masterman High School in Philadelphia.
Yes.
And got to have Michael Nutter's daughter in
Yes.
class.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a biggie.
So yeah, she's gone far for us.
Oh, that's
yes.
wonderful.
It is. Yeah.
That's terrific. Now, do you focus on at-risk girls, or it's just anybody?
It's anybody that their teacher finds them worthy of giving back to their communities. We want to share that with them and congratulate them for giving back. That's what we're about. We're trying to show these girls that it's important to give back to their communities. And so we give them this award to congratulate them and encourage them to identify the needs in their own communities and then go out there and solve these needs, help bring a solution with their compassion and their wisdom.
Who sits in judgment? If you've got 100 applications and you can only pick 20, and I bet all 100 are worthy of scholarships, right?
Yes.
Who sits on the committee and who judges?
We have a committee.
Is it anonymous?
It's
The
10
judges?
of us. 10 of us sit
10 of
around
us.
and we talk about it. And sometimes there might be a recommendation from a guidance counselor who says this child needs you, and that's a bullseye. We'll definitely help that child.
But number one importance is volunteerism.
Yeah.
If they do not volunteer during their 4 years that we have mentored them, or come to one of our seminars, we feel that's an obligation that they have to have in order to receive one of our scholarships.
Do they have to sign like a contract with
No.
you and say, I will do X number of hours a year in volunteer work? Because
No.
a lot of high schools now require that kids do X number of hours in order to be graduated from
Yes.
high school.
Yes, we have no requirements. We just want them to come with us when we've done the other carpenter in Philadelphia where we've rehabbed houses, and then we invite the girls to join us to do
I
that.
say that again, other carpenter?
Other Carpenter.
What's the other carpenter? I never
It's-
heard of that either.
It was a startup organization that we helped fund with our grants, and it was just a two-man operation, and they went into West Philadelphia, into homes that needed their help, and would put in windows, floors, and then we would go and help them do this. We'd spend a whole day doing this with them while the family was there helping us. So we got to know the family that we were helping, and the girls put in windows, they put in floors, they played with the kids who lived in the house.
Were the floors level, or did they go like
No, it was they.
The floors in my house are like
Yeah.
this, but that's because my house is from 1929 and it's certified historic.
Oh,
So the ceilings go like this and the floors go like this, and I had to teach the carpenters how to fake it because you can't hang a door crooked
Right.
to be parallel to a crooked ceiling. The door has to be level.
Yes.
So I would teach them how to fake it.
Good for you.
Good for you.
Another organization that we have some of the women go to, young ladies, is the Ronald McDonald House. So they do a lot there with the planning of the meals, and the young ladies are so good about organizing this, and the excitement is there. They just want to help.
This is wonderful. Well, you're going to have to get a lot more publicity.
Yes.
You know, I'm glad that we're the kickoff today.
I'm so
But
glad
we
too.
need a lot more publicity about an organization. First of all, the fact that you survived for 100
Yeah.
years. How many charities are still around 100 years later?
I know.
How many charities are around 10 years later? I mean,
And there is so much history between 1914 up to almost 1984 of the things that we were involved in, and so many different ideas that came up. If there was a need, we started a committee for it, like tuberculosis, like polio, influenza. These were epidemics that at that time, remember back in 1914, 1917, they didn't have welfare. They didn't have unemployment.
excuse me.
So this was a need, and it was a really bad need because the unemployment was really bad at that time.
We need to know something about your background, your training. Sandra,
Well, I'm a former educator.
what means educator?
I'm a former educator. I taught school.
Where?
In Haverford Township and also in New Jersey.
And what grade level did you
I
teach?
taught from kindergarten to 8th grade. I taught all those grades.
wow.
And then I went on to the New York Stock Exchange where I taught the teachers and the college professors how to run the stock market, how the market is run. So that's
How did you learn how the stock
well,
market is
because
run?
I took many courses at Wharton, and then they asked me, the New Jersey Council of Economics asked me to start this program.
How did you get connected with New Jersey?
I moved over there. I was living there at that time.
Okay. But you're back now?
I am back now.
And, well, where did you go to college?
University of Pennsylvania.
Me too. I knew we had something in common. Okay. And Anne, what's your background?
I think I'm one of 7, so I knew how to get along with people.
Your mother was
right.
very brave. She
She
had
was
7
very
children.
brave, and
Yeah.
I have a friend with 4 kids, and she said 4 is like 5 times as many as 2. It's not just twice as many as 2.
yeah. So
7.
Yes.
How many bathrooms did you have in your house?
We had 7 bathrooms. We were lucky.
Yes.
7 bathrooms?
Yes.
Okay.
So I think, and I just watched my mom, and I knew it was something I wanted to do. I wanted to give back to my community.
And where did you go to college?
I went to Denison University in Ohio.
Ohio. What attracted you to Ohio?
I had a brother and sister that went there, and they loved it. So I thought if they liked it, I would like it.
So you were a legacy.
Yes, exactly.
And what did you major in?
I majored in history and English, and I was a legal assistant, and now I'm working in the finance department at a company in King of Prussia.
You're allowed to mention the name of the company.
Execu Farm, yeah.
What's it called?
Execu Farm.
What does that mean, Execu Farm?
We are started by a woman. We're
Another woman.
and we do global outsourcing for clinical trials and research.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes.
Clinical trials are so important.
Yes.
Really, for many years I was vice president of the Pennsylvania Breast Cancer Coalition, and we always, at our convention every year, were encouraging women to participate in clinical trials because that's how you get the answer. That's how they found out about tamoxifen.
Wow.
That's how they found out, that the lumpectomy is as effective as mastectomy. A lot of things. And Angelina Jolie has really raised a lot of awareness about genetic testing and preventive measures to prevent breast cancer. She's a gutsy broad,
Yes.
I'll tell you.
Very much so.
And it's not too shabby being hooked up with Brad Pitt. I
Not
mean,
at all.
That's like a reward from heaven. He is a cutie pie, I'll tell you. Anyway, so.
But
do you
again,
have-
there she was, helping women.
Yes, absolutely. And children.
Yes.
And not only
children.
that, but look how many
Right.
she adopted, my goodness. So you're going to have a whole menu of exciting events to
Yes.
celebrate your 100th anniversary. Do you know what the first one is that's coming up yet that we can tell people about?
Well, our annual meeting in October will be a big launch for announcing more things about the emergency aid. And we'll be inviting some of the previous founders and scholarship women there. And that will be our big kickoff for launch.
Do you know where it's going to be? Or?
Yes, Marion Cricket Club
Oh.
In October.
in October. October the 2nd.
Second.
October 2nd. Put that on your calendar. October 2nd, Marion Cricket Club.
Yes.
Is it an afternoon, an evening, a luncheon? What is it?
It's an evening
Is it-
event.
Early evening.
5 p.m.
Right.
Kathy's
There you
raising
go.
her hand with
5
fingers.
o'clock. There you
That means
go.
5
to
p.m.
5 to 7.
Okay, so it'll be like a cocktail?
Yes, it's a cocktail party.
Cocktail party? Okay, and do you have sponsors lined up for it yet?
Not yet.
You're
but it'd
looking
be
for
nice.
sponsors?
There we
Yes.
go.
Anybody wants to be a sponsor?
We'd love to have them underwrite the event. It would be perfect.
The phone number they can call is 610-355-0208. Or they can go to your web address, right?
Yes.
The web address is
www.eafoundation.org. Again, www.eafoundation.org.
Sorry, this is not good asthma weather these
No.
days. Anyway, our guests today have been from the Emergency Aid of Pennsylvania, 100 years old. Anyway, we thank you very much. We'll have you on again in the fall.
Thanks for having
We'd
us.
love to do that because we'd love to give you more information about from 1914 on, because we also had another great event which was called the United Christmas Bazaar, which went for many years. And that was a great event for all of us to look forward to, but it also helped the other organizations in Philadelphia. It was the gathering of all of the smaller bazaars. We thought would be a good idea to put them all together. And we had close to-
Consolidation.
Exactly. So that ran for many years, and the emergency aid underwrote that and did all the decorations, the publicity, and they were able to take the money away, and we didn't get anything from any of the organizations. It was our donation.
Well, thank you very much. And we'll see everybody next week on Bonnie's Beat.